Well, welcome back, Therapy Flow community. It's our Ask Us Anything segment of the week. And we're excited to be here and dig in some of the things that you guys submitted.
Can't wait. We got some awesome questions this week from y'all. Thank you so much for putting them. But we basically are slotting them into two big buckets. One is about starting a solo, and one is about starting a group.
Yeah, so Sarah asked us, where do you start with starting up a private practice? And I think it can be a pretty simple question, or it can be a pretty detailed question, depending on how nuanced we want to go with it. And I think we're going to just break down a couple core segments here. In order to successfully start up a practice, you have the legal end of things. You have the needing to like collect cash and like acquire your first client end of things. And then you have everything that happens to after that, right? To continue to successfully run and build the business. On the legal end of things, you can, most states either operate as like a sole proprietor or file for an LLC. There are a couple states that require a PLLC even as a solo practitioner. But essentially, do some research, find a lawyer, do LegalZoom. We hear that is really common, whatever it is, and get your practice formed. And then there's usually a couple of things that we see people pull the trigger on right away. An electronic medical record, like your therapy notes or your simple practice, to start billing or start doing your note taking. Many practice owners will join like Alma or Headway, and then a bunch of other listing sites to either help with like credentialing for insurance providers and or just try and start to get their first client from one of these listing sites, sort of the first step for marketing. And what am I missing there in sort of this formation stage, Attilio?
Yeah. Maybe your insurance. So if you want to have like
malpractice
insurance, that kind of stuff. And then I think maybe the big one here is like, don't overthink it. I think on a lot of fronts, your business is kind of too small for bad things to really happen. Like there's almost nothing that can like devastate your business initially.
Yeah.
And I think it feels like everything is life or death, but it really isn't. Like even if something happens and maybe you mess up how you do your filing or something happens with your taxes or something like that, you're really too small most of the time to really have like a large enough impact that like the IRS is going to audit you or like someone's going to come after you for something really bad. And although you're, buckle up because you're about to have to figure out a bunch of stuff by yourself. And the good news is that there's a lot of lawyers for really like low price, like LegalZoom and other things that can maybe really help you there. So don't overthink it too much. Ultimately, you're in the business of signing people up for mental health services.
And I think separating out the activities you need to do one time to get started, and then the activities you're going to need to do sort of reoccurring. Let's get those one-time activities done. You only need to get an LLC once. And getting an LLC has nothing to do with getting clients. So the faster you can just say, hey, it actually doesn't matter how I'm going to get clients, what kind of clients, what type of billing, all of that stuff. Let's get to the finish line and can I legally and safely accept clients? Let's finish all of our homework there because we need to do that anyways. And don't really do anything else. Don't stress about it. Like, let's just get to the finish line, all those things, and then knock out some of the things after it. Maybe that is when you start to choose a niche. Maybe you don't choose a niche right away, right? Because we're just trying to get some initial traction and get to that point where we're accepting our first client. And that's how you start a private practice. There are, a little bit of complexities with your MPI number and how you want to get credentialed on insurances. But I think we're trying to be a little bit reductive here almost to say, go for it. It's possible. There are also some great programs, whether it's like ours or other individuals out there that will really walk you through the steps after you can legally accept clients, on how to acquire a full caseload of clients and successfully market and advertise and do some of the ongoing activities to make this a successful, sustainable business.
Yeah, I'll maybe give you a little bit of encouragement here too, guys. In these early stages, nine times out of 10, unless you've already run a business, which most of you have not, 9 times out of 10, you're here and you're just here to really learn. And so I would come into this stage of your life maybe open and willing to learn. I'd maybe also come into this stage with maybe a little bit of accepting the fact that maybe we need to have some patience. It doesn't all happen super fast. It's kind of like that situation where it's like on social media, you only ever see people who are like on vacation doing cool things. And it's like, but that's not the 90% of their day to day lives. And so I think maybe you just have a little solidarity in yourself. You're probably making the right decisions. And then finally, look for help, please. I spent the first 2 years of my business career floundering, trying to do it myself, and just look for help. Either that's someone who's been where you want to be or someone who's currently at where you want to be, and just ask for maybe some mentorship. And it's 9 times out of 10 almost always worth just paying them. Pay them for mentorship, pay them just to like get some kind of shortcut for your, quite frankly, your ignorance. You don't know, right? And so pay to shorten that gap a little bit.
Yeah. Which Chris asks us what our prices are. I thought that was a fun question, so we'll answer that real fast. Our prices really range on services, whether you're solo or you're a group practice. So we have a number of different programs available. Best place to just go to our main website or shoot one of us a message on Facebook. mytherapyflow.com is our main website, and just explore and schedule a call through that segment of things. We have programs that range anywhere from $97 a month all the way to like $3,000 or $4,000, either one time or monthly, depending on the level of service you need and are looking for help growing your private practice. And that kind of moves us into the second half of this segment, which is talking about group practice ownership a little bit. Courtney asks us, what is the most important thing to focus on when launching a new group practice to set yourself up for stability and growth? Stability and growth in group practice ownership.
I think the number one thing, and this isn't a strategy, this is actually just a mindset thing. I think it's just switching. Josh, maybe you have a different answer than me, but I think just switching your mindset from I'm no longer a solo to I am now a group practice owner.
Yeah.
And if you switch that mindset, I think everything else as a consequence will follow in accordance. And I think just aligning yourself around the fact that it's not you that makes the money for you, it's your clinicians who make the money for you. And that's where a higher point of leverage exists for you in your practice. I think that just sets the stage entirely.
Yeah. I was going to pretty much say the same thing, especially just from like the business that you're in. The business that you're in now as a group practice owner is you get compensated when you successfully hire a great clinician and fill their caseload and keep their caseload full. Like that's how you earn the most amount of money successfully as a group practice owner. Last week inside of the Therapy Flow flagship program, one of our coaches, Stephanie Carbajal, broke down her journey from 0 to 30 clinicians, right? From solo private practice to group to 30 plus clinicians, multi-location, multi-million-dollar practice. And one of the biggest things that she shared in her story and her journey was this mindset set shift of not just how do I make my money, but of being and feeling like, oh, I'm a business owner and I'm an entrepreneur as sort of my primary identity for how I approach this business. And I happen to now be in the business of therapy. I really scaled that because I came from being an amazing clinician to being an amazing clinician in solo practice, and now I'm a group practice. And she shared moment by moment as her practice continued to grow, where she had to set down philosophies, principles, processes that she held to really closely on an identity level as a counselor, and relearn those through the lens of business owner or entrepreneur. And it's when she made those changes and she got on the other side of like, oh, like I'm now the business owner, I'm now the business operator. I'm like, this is what good business owners do. And I happen to own a private practice for my business. And actually my quality of care and my impact on my clicicians team, the separation I get to achieve from my business to like run and operate this business and slowly see the freedom that comes from business ownership. Here's why I launched a group practice in the first place, right? All of those things really started to shift the more she took on the identity of, my goal, my client now becomes my clinicians, not the people that my clinicians are seeing. Like, where does her time, where does her attention, where does her value go? It's no longer in one-to-one sessions. It's to her team and to the practice model and the business of business in that situation to run that appropriately. So I just would encourage you, for growth and long-term stability, is the more you can own that business owner mindset and dig into that, and let go of solo practice mindset, the faster you're going to push into those steps.
Yeah. I don't think I have too much to add there. As far as like, I mean, the main question was like, what's the core thing? I think learning to market is important, and not just market for new clients, but market to recruit, right? So attract the clients that you want for your practice and attract the clinicians that you want through recruiting.
Yeah. I was just going to say, marketing to fill your clinician's caseload and or recruitment to grow your team for any position, but especially the clinical positions, are two of the biggest bottlenecks that group practice owners have to work with us on because they don't know how to solve it themselves. And I don't really care how you solve these problems, but if you want long-term growth and stability, consistently tackling the number one problem in your business, knowing that it's not going to go away. Like, this is the problem I have to solve in front of me. Otherwise, my business will not grow. If you're looking for growth, like, I have to learn or figure out how to overcome this some way, somehow. That's your responsibility as the business owner. Those two bottlenecks, filling out the team at volume and or building the team at volume and everything adjacently that needs to go with those are where people get stuck. Seek the help, seek the providers, seek the coaches that are going to help you solve those bottleneck problems sooner rather than later.
Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else to add there. Do we have any other questions we want to dig in on? Those are kind of the big ones.
Those are the big ones, guys. Start the practice, grow the practice, sustain the practice, by focusing on the most important things that matter to the business right now. You can do it. You just might need a little bit of help along the way, and that's okay. Attilio and I have both been there as well. And that would kind of be my last comment, is it's a lot easier to build a business when you're not doing it alone. It's a lot easier.
Find someone else. Find a friend.
Find a friend. Phone a friend.
Yeah.
So we hope this helps. We'll see you guys next time.